Another Hall of Fame spotlight interview. We have Doak Markley from the class of 1970 and a class this year that ranges from 70 to 2010. And we're glad to have Coach Markley with us. Kind of twofold. I want to jump back quickly to the athlete Doak Markley from the high school, because back in the day, and we're both from back in the day, we can admit that, but you just played everything, right?
Yeah, I was a 3-year starter in the offensive and defensive line for football. Then I went right to basketball. And as soon as basketball was over, I ran track and threw shot and disc. And then I played baseball all summer.
And then I always like to ask this from the multi-sport athletes, what was your favorite?
They're so different. I guess I'd have to say football, just because the guys I grew up with and did that so long.
Right. And then if you were to look back, and again, I look at those all of the 60s and into the 70s is the time that I was just that formidable, loved going to the games, watching the Tiger games or whatever the case might be. Just seemed like a different level. I don't know if it was the fan support, if it was the league. What do you feel the same way about that?
Yeah, it's definitely different now from the top down, whether you talk pro, college, and so forth. But I just think there was a lot of camaraderie, and possibly because, like on TV, you didn't have 85 game choices. Right. So your high school team and your high school buddies were tighter to you. You weren't pushed off into too many different areas.
Doak Markley, class of 1970, Marietta High School, and 2025 Marietta High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. Can you just name a few of the guys that, whatever sport, but lined up alongside of you, and then some of the mentors that you probably cussed at the time, but then love now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, playing wise, it was guys you played with the whole time through, but Ben Cogswell, Chris Mendenhall, Bob Wurzbacher, there's some other linemen there. But Coach Boner, Coach Becker, I had so much time with as a lineman, which was huge. And then Bob Anderson's in track was someone that was a tremendous mentor for me. We also had, I kind of went to my class there, but like Dave and Larry Burke, Randy Burnworth, just so much remember those guys.
Yeah, and some Hall of Fame names popping out of there, obviously, as well. Doak Markley is our guest as we reminisce a little bit and celebrate what is to come this year with the induction ceremony on October the 11th. And we encourage folks to come out to that football game on that Friday night. We'll honor these guys as well. But football, basketball, track, and then on to college. Were there like recruitment efforts for you at any time at any one of those sports?
I was recruited some, but wasn't high enough to get a scholarship offer. But I really liked Miami University, known as the Cradle of Coaches, and I really knew that's what I wanted to go into. And I'd had visit there and so forth. So I went there as a freshman and got my numerals. Back then, freshmen, you couldn't play varsity. It was a separate freshman team. And Bill Mallory, the head coach there, was another very meaningful person in my development. I played and was the backup center when I got my last concussion. And Coach Mallory visited me in the hospital and said, "We know you want to coach. Why don't you become a student coach?" And I did that for 2 years. And that staff left and went to Colorado. And I was a graduate assistant one more year, which was very, very meaningful, what went on with Miami University.
Perfect transition into what I'm going to talk to you about after this break, but we're going to take a quick break. Hall of Famer Doak Markley is our guest from the Marietta High School class of 1970. We'll be right back.
The Marietta High Tigers play on WMOA.
Johnny Wharff in a spotlight interview with Doak Markley. I always like to ask, for somebody that played at a high level, you didn't take any seasons off when you're in football, basketball, and track. There's no seasons off, and I like to ask, man, when it stops, which for most people, Doak, it does after high school. We know that, but for you, you talked a little bit about how you kept the groove going on the football field at Miami, but more so, talk about what your passion was and how, that led to, 3 state championships and, Wilbert Williamstown and obviously being a track official and all these things that kept you close to the game.
You grow up with it, but the relationships you can develop, there's a team thing. And even, I don't care whether it's track or whatever, there's still a team factor there. But the relationships you get to forge with people and then try to express, what you learned from it and help them, move on.
When you look at those state playoffs and state championship games, and you did it as a head coach in football at Williamstown, as a head coach in track as well, do you coach those things relatively the same way from a leadership standpoint?
Well, obviously with football, you've got to get everybody, the line, the receivers, the backs, everything working together, where there's a lot more individuality in the track and field, but you still have your relay races and so forth. But trying to get them to set a goal and become who they can become. And I think that's what's so rewarding. While I was there at Williamstown, I started a local pole vault camp because I'd gotten to work some camps around. And I'm so thrilled. Last summer I came up because 2 of my ex-vaulters, Jason Buttrey and Andy Fenton, they're continuing that camp, and it's, into its 2nd decade. And that's as much rewarding to see the growth, but then something continue.
Again, perfect transition. You can tell you're a coach into what my next thought is. And my final thought, because I've already talked longer than I told you I would, which is kind of typical probably when we get together. But pole vault, where does that come from? I mean, it's the craziest thought that somebody would not only do it at Marietta, that then would take it on and develop it into a coaching career, into the gravity is a myth thing, the camp that you founded. So how did that happen?
Well, I'll blame my friend Ben Cogswell. He was a pole vaulter. We really didn't, Coach Aniston's worked with it some, but we didn't have a specific pole vault coach. And I threw mainly shot and disc. And he came over and taught me how to do it so I could watch him and give him some feedback. And basically it became an addiction from there. It's like I said, it's a crazy event. And I guess the uniqueness of it is part of the allure also. But again, I was able to be very successful with it.
All right. When's the last time you launched yourself over a bar?
Me would have been about 84 or something, just messing around. The body wouldn't last very long trying to do that now.
I love it. Doak Markley is our guest, class of 1970. On a personal note, I have never one time run into you when you didn't have a smile on your face. I appreciate that. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. Can't wait to see you in October, if not before.
I'm honored, and I look forward to it myself.